Hello, and welcome to the Movie Universe. I'm your host, Movie Fan. Today, I'm going to be talking about something very different. I'm going to be talking about 3 of the biggest mistakes in Hollywood casting. Before I get started, let me say this. What you're going to see is probably nothing new to you. It's probably something you've seen on Watch Mojo or any other channel, because this has been talked to death. However, there are quite a few things that never seem to come up. You'll see what I mean in a minute. The first, and probably the most obvious terrible casting choice would obviously be Steven Seagal as a Mexican drug lord. There isn't too many people who don't know Steven Seagal because he was really big back in the late 80s and throughout the 90s. Mostly doing action movies with his awesome martial arts skills. And that interesting demeanor that he has about himself, where he has that straight face and he just constantly talks in that calm tone, and he acts so nonchalant until he's ready to kick some serious butt. So when he ended up playing our big villain in the movie Machete, it was a very terrible choice because he was trying to be Mexican, he tried to have the accent, and for the first time ever, he's playing a villain. Obviously, when you've never played a villain before, that's bad. And another obvious thing, when you have only used that one demeanor for over 20 years, there's no way in heck you're going to be able to pretend to be someone else. Because let's not forget, people, he has constantly played that same demeanor this whole time. And all of a sudden he's trying to be Mexican? I wish I could say more about this, but there really isn't anything else to say. So I'm just going to move on to our next worst casting choice. Topher Grace as Venom. Or I should say Eddie Brock, because Venom is hardly there for even 5 minutes. If you ask anyone what was wrong with Spider-Man 3, this always comes up. And why shouldn't it come up? Topher Grace was so out of place in this movie that it defies explanation. I am not joking. I mean, let's remember what Eddie Brock was. He was a big, muscular bruiser with blonde hair. And we get Topher Grace, who is a skinny little boy with blonde hair in this case, because they had to dye his hair, of course. Eddie Brock was a jerk, but Topher Grace does not come off as a jerk in this story. He just comes off as a guy who's desperate to try to be a great reporter. And of course, the main reason we all know is because for quite a while, he played Eric Foreman, and the people couldn't stop associating him as Eric Foreman. Even I keep saying that every time I talk to people about this. And let's not forget, what has he done besides that 70s show? Well, I remember a movie where it was supposed to be kind of a romantic comedy sort of thing where this one guy has this young boss played by Topher Grace who ends up dating his daughter. I mean, I never seen that, but that actually looked plausible for him because, he had that Eric Foreman approach going on there. But this was out of place for him. This was not something he was meant to do. I mean, he's never been in an action movie. He's never been in any kind of sci-fi whatsoever. All he ever was a comedic little weakling. He was just Eric Foreman. And a few other people on King of the Hill every now and again. It still puzzles me as to why they thought that he was the right choice for Eddie Brock. I have a friend who actually thinks that it was because of Tobey Maguire, thinking that he kind of looks like a weakling, so maybe that's what they were going for. And maybe, but still, Eric Foreman? The last worst casting choice in this little video is John Wayne as Genghis Khan in the movie The Conqueror. Surprisingly, I have not seen this come up very often. Only Watch Mojo has ever brought that up, to which I totally agree with them on this. Because John Wayne as Genghis Khan, how out of place can you possibly get? This actually does supersede Eric Foreman as Venom. Why? It's quite simple. Because John Wayne, great actor, he did a lot of great movies. I love his westerns, I love his war movies, I even love some of the comedies he was in. Yes, he actually did comedies, and he actually did some real good serious dramas as well. But when he played Genghis Khan in The Conqueror, he stuck out worse than a sore thumb. One problem is his Midwestern accent. All the John Wayne fans know that, because, he sounds the same in every film that he's ever made. So when you hear his voice, you know it's John Wayne. And let's not forget, Genghis Khan was in Asia, so obviously a Midwestern accent is way out of place here. Of course, the biggest problem here was John Wayne's character profile. Because he did westerns and war movies for so long, it was hard to change that. And what most people don't know is that when he was young and barely getting started in Hollywood, he actually met legendary gunfighter and U.S. Marshal Wyatt Earp. And he actually tried to emulate Wyatt's profile and demeanor. And that is why he was so good at playing those westerns. And because he emulated Wyatt Earp for so long, he just could not transition from Wyatt Earp to Mongolian Conqueror. It just can't be done that way. So there was the biggest problem. Now, unlike Topher Grace playing Venom or Steven Seagal playing a Mexican drug lord, I can understand why Hollywood wanted John Wayne to be in this. Supposedly he opted for the role, but at the same time, it was because he was a big name. And when you have a big name in a movie, that usually draws people in. But in this case, it obviously failed. And that is some of the worst casting choices that I have ever seen in movies. This is Movie Fan, signing off.